Stay dangerous.
Yo.
Welcome back. Another
sir.
episode, man. The Stay Dangerous podcast.
Yes, sir. I love the hustle.
Bruh, I love this game, bruh.
But I think just the entire creative process, I think it was you that was even telling me just like keep creating, bro. Like
Gotta keep creating.
Fulfills me, bro.
We are creative beings, man. We are made to create things, to curate things, to build. It's a part of our construction, man.
Everything on the pod, like everything with this shit, boy, it's just been a whole creative process.
For those who aren't following us on social media, on all platforms, like
at Stay Dangerous Podcast.
Yeah, at Stay Dangerous
all
Podcast.
Platforms. That's on all platforms.
The experience is not just us sitting back and forth and talking to each other. Constantly giving little breadcrumbs here and there. We're constantly giving little hints at what our references are or what inspires us, what we think is funny. It comes in the form of, you may see our album artwork. You may see the little social clips that we do every week. You may see how we curate this table. You know what I mean? And
everything's very intentional.
Yeah. And nothing is by happenstance.
That's just fun, bro. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I take so much pride in like when I jump in. That's why I'm always, and you probably the same way. But when I jump into some shit, I'm in the shit. So that's why I can't be in too much at all times. But when I'm in the shit, I'm in it.
But when I started on my healing journey, people were like, "Wait, you going to Japan to win?" I want to learn Reiki at the source.
Yeah, but it'd be like, I've been thinking about this shit for the last year. Don't get it fucked up.
I decided to jump in it.
Yeah,
I'm in it.
Once I'm in it, bro. Ain't no half-assing nothing.
Bro, I left my job. I was in sound healing the next weekend.
Word. Nigga, I already done made this decision, boy. I'm full force with it. You know what I'm saying?
So once we came to this, it's like, we not half-assing no podcast.
Hell no, boy. Everything curated. It's enough half-assing going on. I ain't contributing to it.
I will not be a party to this mediocrity, bro.
It's good though. What we getting into today, man?
Speaking of the curation, man. I don't know that everybody has noticed, but every week we do the podcast, put some books on the table, little light reading material. Could be something that's inspired us, something that we look to that could be business related, could be race related, could be around masculinity, could be around feminine, could be about love. But we give people a little something. So today we get into how books have impacted us.
I think we had a comedy book up there today.
Yeah, we definitely had a
or a
comedy book.
Some episode up there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
100%.
even know what, I can't see the book title at the bottom. I'm not sure what book.
There's a sound healing book there. Malcolm X.
I see the Malcolm
book there for sure.
I know the Malcolm X.
On the middle, what is this one?
Oh, that's
Modern Intellectual?
Crisis of the Intellectual Negro.
Of the Intellectual Negro, yeah. Bro, it's always something, little something for people, And the books come from us. They're from our bookshelves. You know what I mean? So some may be his, some may be mine, so we may not recognize them. These aren't random books, by the way, just because we couldn't recognize them all.
Word.
So I want to ask you, maybe not the one, maybe if you have one. If you had to pick a book or several books that have impacted or changed your life the most, what are you picking?
I'll go with I'm gonna go on a couple of different routes. I'm not gonna just take just life. Like I got a lot of business books that have shifted my way of thinking and excelled me in that way. And that way has led to many things. So I'd say probably a good book. I think probably one of the first ones we bonded over was Contagious. Was a very big book.
That's the Jonah Berger?
Yeah. And it's a marketing book.
I think I'm Big Lynch. I'm Jonah Berger.
Fucking marketing has always just been a very fascinating thing to me, bro. Like, and especially just being an entrepreneur and a creative, I feel like marketing is that middle point of like you get to display your creativity and you get to see the results and play with it and kind of experiment. There's endless ways to market, bro. But that way really it taught me a lot about the effectiveness of it. It taught me a lot about this is just the funny thing that books do, because your mind just put a thought in your mind and that thought can just expound, you know what I'm saying? So I'd say Contagious. I'd say as far as, and then like more life, Malcolm X Autobiography for sure. definitely, I relate a lot to Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was that young outcast, wild nigga. He went through his different phases and all that. He was telling his truth on that into what he become. You know what I'm saying? I stand on a lot of shit that he stand on too. You know what I'm saying? So, that was a big, and just even in opening up, when I read that was just like me really starting to deep dive into the racial shit that really going on in this country. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big thought, and all these things helped me grow and kind of become me. So if I had to credit, you know what I'm saying, two, because I credit those books, not to say that they're the most impactful or the dopest shit I've ever read, but those were the kickstarters for me. You know what I'm saying? Those were like those real like, oh, word. You know what I'm saying? When I was incarcerated, I read a bunch of books when I was incarcerated, but in there I would read more fantasy. You know what I'm saying? I was more of a
Okay.
I read a couple. I was a young nigga though. You know what I'm saying? 23. So I'm like I ain't on shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really trying to be. I wasn't trying to get smarter or get educated or anything like that. I was trying. My agenda in there was to make time go past as fast as possible to escape mentally.
Word.
So I'm reading fantasy books, Game of Thrones and
word.
Hunger Games.
I never knew this about you.
yeah. I'm reading
see
Game
you completely
of
differently. No judgment, just see you differently.
Word. Yeah, I'm reading.
Little judgment, not gonna lie, but
word.
I'm messing with y'all.
But I was you know what I'm saying, like Shorty was into it, and I was getting them sent in. So like she would read that, she would send it to me type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so it's like, and then that way we can talk about it via the phone. You know, finding that common ground. So those I would read more fantasy books, you know what I'm saying, escape from that. But once I really started getting, I want to educate myself, I want to learn more. Those were the kind of those kickstarters for me. And then I seen what I'm able to get out of these books, or get out of just even reading, just the process of reading, just sitting down and taking that time. I'm able to see what comes from that, and those were those kickstarters. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let's start on. Well, actually, do you want me to get mine? I'm curious about Contagious.
You're curious about it?
Yeah, like meaning you said marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something in that book that you said, aha?
You know, it's funny because in a lot of, probably it happens in a lot of time with conversations with you and when I read things, that it's not necessarily a aha moment, but there's so much shit that I read like, oh, I'm doing that, but it gives me in this language that I'm able to understand what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to hone in on it. So there was a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it was teaching, and I don't want to get it because I've read a ton of marketing books along the same lines of that, so I don't want to get it misconstrued. But I remember there being like an example of just kind of like it was like a restaurant open, right? And how you gonna stand out, like every burger, fry joints everywhere. But what this restaurant decided to do was put a phone booth in it, and you go inside that phone booth, and there's a speakeasy or something, or something small right behind it, just something like that. But the lesson was pretty much to learn, like, you make customers feel exclusive, or you give them that, oh, if you know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You give them that if you know feeling. From that, I'm like, word. But I already think like that, but it's like really writing that shit into words. I'm like, oh, word. This is.
Yeah, and understanding the value proposition that you're providing people and how that's making them feel, and the psychology behind that.
Word. It's how you make a customer feel. It's like, naturally, I want the customer to feel good. Yeah, I do, but I need to hear that. I need to read that.
A lot of marketers forget that sometimes not putting the word out there is the best word out
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I ran businesses that's been strictly off word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? With minimal marketing has been generated income off of that, but I've used some of these same principles that I've learned, you know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, and it's fascinating shit to me because it's human psychology, it's all marketing, you know what I'm saying? So it's very fascinating, but that was a big oh, word moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's that kind of shit I wish I was learning in school. Like, yo, bro.
One of the big books for me is this book called Made to Stick. I think it's Dan and Chip Heath, or brothers, that wrote it. They made it off of, trying to remember which book it was. They made it as not a critique, but an add-on, like an addendum to another book.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it's a Malcolm Gladwell book, and I can't remember if it was Outliers. I can't remember which Malcolm Gladwell book it was. But then Made to Stick was kind of built alongside that as like a reading companion with that. And I remember one of the things, the ideas of stickiness was really like, because what makes ideas stick? I was in marketing at that time. I was working at an ad agency, I think, when I read that book. And one of the things that stuck out to me about that was just the clarity needed. If you can't say the idea in a sentence, it's not an idea yet. It's a thought, but you haven't really nailed it yet. And they talk about this idea of commander's intent. And that means no matter what else we're trying to do, this is the overall goal of this mission. We don't know what's going to come in the way, but always go back to the intent of why we're here. And you'll know. And they gave the example of like Southwest. Like, we're going to be the low fare airlines. And to do that, we have to be like, so we need to be thinking efficiently at all times. So
everything
in
we
every
doing
decision,
doing that, yeah.
Like, and so it comes from a military concept of we're going on this mission. The mission is to capture X or to whatever. We don't know what's going to come against us. I can't tell you play by play what's going to happen. But this is the commander's intent is to capture the daughter of, whatever. I don't
know what we are.
Yeah, we know
what we do to get there. We know what we doing at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, and so to have that simplicity of this is what we're here for. So every decision that you can make, you can give people autonomy as a leader as long as you give them a goal, and they'll have to figure out how to get there with whatever they're facing, and you can't be there the whole point of the way. So that's helped me in business, but then it helps me as a leader outside of business. It helps me as a father, what I mean? It helps me run a household, all of that. So yeah, I like those business books and those like subtle things that you're probably doing, but when you understand what it is you're doing, you can hone in on it. Like you said, you have language so you can also help other people figure it out for themselves too.
Word. And that's what would you would put business book? What books? What's your genre of books that you go to? Educational, biographies.
It varies over time.
Yeah.
So one of the books that's on my list is a book that I've referenced on this podcast probably 2 times, 3 times already, which is Say What You Mean. It's like a guide to nonviolent communication. And I think it was the last episode, one of the more recent episodes, we talk about like being first generation. And one of the things I realized I was fighting for was the ability to talk reckless. And not talk reckless like I'm going to call you names that are outdated, but talk reckless in some like, I realize that there's people out here who haven't been raised to say "fuck you" mean anytime somebody says something. Somebody said like, yo, and I was fighting for the ability to do that. I was fighting for the ability to stay violent in my communication. Yeah, and I had to understand why am I trying to stay violent? And the book itself is a powerful book, but the notion of the book, like what am I holding on to? That's actually I have it so ingrained in my identity as so much a part of me that I can't let it go, that's actually harming myself. And how goofy do I feel, sound, even like just as a part, like hurts me to say, damn, I really want the ability to cut somebody out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, why am I fighting for that? To be normal, to be normalized, because that's detrimental to myself, to the people around me, to whatever. But when you start interacting with people outside of your sphere, and they're like, why are you so angry? And I'm like, I'm not angry. Well, why are you cussing at me? Because we cuss. Like, what's wrong with that? Like,
well, I used to get that all the time. I used to be angry. Like, damn, that's coming from the outside. I don't think I'm angry at all, but I must be.
But like, violence is so normalized within our households, communities, whatever, that it's not even, I don't have to be angry to act violently, because that's normal. And violent doesn't mean I'm going to punch you or shoot you or whatever. It could mean I'm just going to talk to you crazy because I was just raised getting clowned all the time and clowning other people all the time and whatever. And that's just is what it is.
Yeah, some niggas, that's just normal dialogue. They sound like they about to fight at every conversation. Like, they're not about to fight, but they just talk like that.
A casual what up is, yo, fuck this nigga been at.
Fuck you at, nigga. Fuck you on, nigga.
Yeah, exactly. No, hello, nigga. Yeah, fuck you doing over there? Like, niggas think they hot shit, nigga. Fuck you, bro.
So the book gets into that.
The book gets
like,
into
what's the title mean? Say What You Mean.
Guide to Nonviolent Communication means instead of raising your voice and saying, yo, fuck is you talking about? Being able to say, what you said actually offended me because you referred to me in these ways. I identify in this way, so I'd appreciate if you're going to refer to me like this. And for you to understand, if you do refer to me like that, then this is the impact that has on me. Versus, yo, fuck is you talking about, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, and being able to give you language for those type of conversations.
So then I want to ask a question, like, what do you think niggas to this day that still use that language? Fuck you talking about when they talk. Do you think if you explain that exact sentence to a nigga, how would they receive that?
I don't think a lot of people are ready for that conversation. So,
but like, what is it though? Like, are they like, no, I'm not gonna do that, or is it like?
I think it's like, oh, you the nigga that wears scarves on your head now. I'm not fucking with you on no bullshit like that.
What if I tell her?
You the nigga with the shiesty on.
Yeah, with the shiesty
man,
on.
You got on a fucking, what do you got on a mesh sweater, nigga? You ain't telling me you a fashion nigga now. Nah, I think a lot of people are just going to be defensive to it. I don't know exactly what they're going to say, but I think it challenges you in a way because it challenged me in a way to, damn, this nigga's trying to control me. This is another thing attacking me, telling me what I'm doing is wrong. I think that's how people will see it. And so, but it also gives, and I think I mentioned this on a previous episode, it gives you tools to listen for nonviolence through the violence. See every person's expression as an unmet need. Anything I'm expressing to you, most likely is something that I need, you know what I mean? Or I could be silent otherwise. Right. So let me hear what they're saying. So instead of trying to force somebody into it, I try to show it by an example. For people that I'm close to, I'll point out like, hey, that seemed to be an ego-driven way to describe that. Have you thought about like what, and what I do is like, what I'm hearing you say is this what you mean? And it kind of lets people know in a non-confrontational way, oh shit, that is what I meant. Why am I talking like this? But again, the idea of the book is just exposing me to examine all these things that from my past that I'm holding on to, that I'm trying to make be a part of my identity that are actually harmful to me. So that was a big one for me.
Word, I could feel that. I was like, I want to get to the form of communication where we can go to like, because I feel like the way that's delivered, I want to be able to communicate this in a nonviolent way. Can we come to an agreement over it that this sounds better than this? That this is more this is a more pleasant interaction. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But that's when it gets into like you know, people already think I'm condescending. You know what I'm saying? Like when I try to teach,
think he's smart.
Yeah, I try to teach in a direct way. It's like, imagine me saying, "Does this sound better?" Yeah, this sounds better.
That's
like,
why we team up on the pod. Like, nah, it's not just him. High school dropout tell you the same shit. I be on the same shit.
Yeah, nah, it's,
you know what I'm saying?
It's different. But like, you know, you are. I often will admit that I am. I can be intellectually arrogant, but I see you the same way. Like when you know something, and it's like, I'm trying to put you on to something right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So and
it's not that what I know, is I know you too, because I know that way of thinking. I was thinking like that before, bro. Yeah. So I'm telling you.
But even if it's on some like, it's not even like looking at somebody that you're trying to teach. It's just a random thing. It's like, no, I know that you know this. Like, why are we having this conversation? Anyway, I digress. Genres of books.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. So that's an example of like, I guess you would qualify that as self-help maybe, but like it's not like.
I'm assuming no fantasy.
Nah, I haven't read a lot of fantasy. You know who I fuck with?
I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Who's a sci-fi writer? Only sci-fi writer I ever read was Octavia Butler. Her shit is hard, bro.
What type of sci-fi she writing?
She got books with like Kindred is like slaves have powers type shit, but then she has like Parable of the Sower, and it's a whole series, and this is like set in a post-apocalyptic like situation where it's just like, you know, she has some hard shit though, bro.
Word.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
But and like fantasy books, Yo, I haven't read a fantasy book since, you know what I'm saying, since I was like locked out. I would rather watch the TV show, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even watch fantasy anything. Like the only superhero movies I've ever seen are Batman movies and Black Panther 1.
Yeah, there's a turn off for me in the superhero genre too, but also I don't want to offend niggas because I know niggas that's knee deep in that shit.
No,
that
and
shit,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, word.
I'm just saying that doesn't appeal to me. Mentioned on a recent episode, I met a new cousin. She put me onto some anime. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm just getting into the anime world.
I used to be super against anime, dog.
I've never seen an anime episode of anything.
Word. See, I have, because I knew niggas that was super into it. I had cousins that was super into it.
I knew niggas who was super into it.
You ain't never catch that.
Pokemon had a chokehold on people.
Yeah. But there's
Dragon Ball Z had a chokehold on people. I've never seen an episode, like just on a very basic level.
Yeah,
is
the
Pokemon
anime crowd would be offended
anime?
at that. Yeah, they'd be offended at
that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like when people ask me, I think nobody asked me about Pokemon. People ask me about Dragon Ball Z. So I think that's like
it's there, but it's like commercial. It's like commercialized anime.
But I haven't even gotten to the commercialized. That's my whole point. I'm not calling that the best anime, but I got some recommendations. I think Hunter x Hunter, Death Note, some shit that probably means something to some people. I have no idea.
I've opened up more so and like I've gave some a chance, and the shit's actually dope. You know what I'm saying? It's actually deep. I just don't be as heavily invested. I don't be heavily invested into much TV, but
the problem with me in fantasy is as a kid I didn't really understand the allegory in a lot of it.
Allegory,
meaning the sort of like deeper story and messaging behind it.
Yeah, word. So throw
like,
you off.
Yeah, so it's like all of it is metaphorical and it's all this stuff, and it's like, oh, I don't give a fuck about like.
Turn SpongeBob on, nigga.
I remember coming downstairs and my dad's watching Game of Thrones, and I'm I don't know, home for the holidays or something. I come downstairs, I'm grabbing something from the fridge. I see him watching. I'm watching the show like, damn, this shit kind of hard. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I see a nigga with a dragon pull up. I'm like, oh, all right.
I'm
out. I'm out.
Definitely a resistance there in the black community for sure.
But no, I see mad people on fantasy. Like, it just never appealed to me. But I'm gonna open up to it. Educational stuff now, especially in the healing world. Like, I probably have 4 books with me on this trip to New York that's about sound healing. To understand that, the science behind it, why it works, how it works. Because I like to teach people about what I know, so I like to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Are you a committed reader? Do you have like a page? I know people are like, I'm reading 10 pages a day, or I'm doing 20 pages a day, or a book a month, or something along those lines. Or is your life a little bit too over the place? You get it in where you fit it in.
I want to read every day. I don't read every single day, but that's the goal, is to read every day. I do not have a page quota per day, but to even pick up a book and be still enough to read is a discipline that like is a main thing. That's like outside of just a meditation or a chanting, where you're actually getting something in, and it's guaranteed to be time that you're not looking at a screen, which I love.
Facts, bro. I go through so many phases. I go through phases where I'm reading, and then I go through phases where it's just like, damn, I haven't read in a while. It kind of feels like the gym for me. Like, you know, you fall off the shit, you just like...
You fall all the way off.
Yeah, you fall all the way off. It's like, oh, I gotta get back. But once I'm back, I'm in it.
I have some, like, people that I'll put onto a book, and then I'll talk about it, so then I'll read the book again, kind of as they're reading. My homies, shout out K-Tone and Squizzy Taylor in Denver. They started a Men Who Read book club in Denver.
Oh, that's hard.
So I've been reading the books along with them. So I do have some things that are keeping me accountable to reading.
Word, that's hard. Oh man, book club.
Yeah, and it's like 2 big DJs in the city who, like, if you're tired of being at the club all the time and want to like actually bond over something else when we're not drunk, we started a book club. So I think that's the hardest shit in the world, bro. Shout out y'all, man.
Word. And that just everybody just read the same book and come together, talk
once
about
a month. You read a book a month, and it's like 40 dudes. Like, just we have a whole group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's hard.
What y'all think about this one? I think like they started off with Way of the Superior Man. Art of War was next. The next book was To Heal a People. Actually, one of our brothers had written a book, so we read that book. So yeah,
one of the realizations I'm coming to is just like, damn, that's actually a good ass way to build community. I'm sure the niggas that run book clubs have been thought of that, but obviously,
shit, we might fuck around and do a Stay Dangerous book club out this joint.
Facts, word. Just in thinking of, because it's not obviously just a book, but like, yo, you get so many different perspectives of thinking on that, and then it's a gathering or it's some type of communication. It could be Zoom or whatever the fuck, but it's a communication. But you're gonna get honest thoughts, even. It's people communicating through the book, but that's
people that know more about these things before they read them than you, that can give you context to like, this is what that means. This is another book that touches on that if you're interested in it. It's dope.
Yeah, you learning, you staying still, being disciplined.
Staying still, being disciplined, learning, building community. I mean, what could go wrong? As far as you, like, you talked about fantasy, you talked about business, and you talked about autobiography. Is that kind of your pocket?
Yeah, but I don't even know where it like fits in. I like those fun reads. You know what I'm saying? Those simple reads. Like I read Jay-Z Decoded. Like I would call that a simple, like a fun read.
Yeah.
Like it's just like interesting. The way it's formatted is dope. You know what I'm saying? You recently got me a gift, which is The Art of Stand-Up Comedy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just. Yeah, the Zen of stand-up comedy, where it's just, and it's a very simple, easy read, but it's like fun, but it's also teaching me mad shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just learning like little nuances. David Lynch has a book around. It's like transcendental meditation is like kind of what it's supposed to be about, but it's about him creating all these movies, and it's just dope. Like fast 1-page reads. Shit like that, and not even just because it's simple reads, just like the way that it's structured and the way that information is given to me is like It's very broken down, but there's so much. I read this is actually a fire book. And I read so many, so it should be something in my mind, but impactful book in my life. The fucking Tao of Pooh. The Tao of Pooh, bro.
Tao of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh.
Yeah.
That
Did I put you onto that?
I don't know if you put me. Nah, I don't know. I feel like that was something I got offline, but I feel like we definitely discussed it. But I've read it. It's probably been at least 3-4 years since I read it. The
Tao of Pooh is a fire book.
Yo, fire book.
Yo, if I ever tried to give you the Tao of Pooh and you just happen to leave it at the crib instead of take it with you, you loafed.
Yo, I'm telling you, and that's one of those books that's kind of presented in a format where like it's an easy read, but it's full of so much wisdom.
I was gonna say Tao Te Ching, which is based off of. It was one of my books I was just about to mention, but yeah, Taoism as just a
a
philosophy.
So fire, and that again one of those books where it's like, oh, this that shit I be doing, you know what I'm saying? Like this that shit I'll be trying to get to, or like that's helping me explain. But it goes literally about Winnie the Pooh, the fucking character, and it's showing all the characters in it, Eeyore, Piglet, Autumn, and those are all just personality traits. Eeyore is the depressed person, Piglet's the worried person, you know what I'm saying? It shows all these personality traits. And Pooh, the main context of the book, Pooh just is.
Pooh just is.
Pooh just is.
Piglet frets, Owl pontificates, Eeyore laments. And Pooh just is.
Pooh just come out with a shirt and just walk around and get in this shit. It just is.
For context, Taoism and Tao thinking is ancient Chinese philosophy around the way is the way and just letting the way be. And that's what creates balance in life. And that's an oversimplified version. And, Taoist people probably scoff at that. But just to give some type of context to what we're talking about. And so this guy, Benjamin Hoff, wrote the Tao of Pooh to say there's something in your face that you're familiar with that can sort of be a bridge to these concepts. I love that book. Shout out Dwelle Rogers, who put me onto that book in like 2006.
Word. Yo, that book right there, I was like, word, this is it, man. That shit slapped. That was I used to recommend it to everybody, but I think I let somebody borrow it or gave it away, so I don't see it anymore. But it's like, oh shit, nah, that was my shit, bro. I wish I need to order another copy of that, because that's something I would definitely like to go back and reference. But just showing all the examples of like just those little, even in episodes or just life of just he is moving in this right purpose. He is happy. He's commander's intent. I'm gonna have a good day and be happy. I'm just moving in that. No matter what, I'm making that shit happen. Bro.
It's like whatever comes his way, he's okay with it.
Nigga get his head stuck in a honey jar. Like, all right, nigga, I'm enjoying the honey while
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how he see it. And when somebody comes get the jar off my head, cool. Like,
oh yeah, sunlight. That's cool too.
Yeah, that's cool too. What we doing next? Thank you, sir, for getting the honey. Like, yo, it's fire, bro.
Yeah, I love that book. Another book I reference a lot on this part, and I don't know what category to put it in, is All About Love by Bell Hooks.
Oh yeah, you did. Tell me about that.
I think that's required reading for all human beings. And
I think you mentioned that as a parenting book, yeah?
Yeah, I mentioned it as a parenting book.
Yeah.
I mentioned it as a relationship book. I mentioned it as a book because it gives language for people to have conversations. It references another book, but it provides a definition for love. The thing that we're all looking for, searching for, want around us, we've accepted in our life that it's undefinable. How?
Yeah.
The most important thing that we say we want, that we need, that we want to build community around, that we want to build relationships around, that we tell each other that we do to each other, I love you. There's no definition to it. Like how?
Word.
And so she challenges that notion. She references another book that I can't think of the top of the head right now.
Who's
came
the
out in the 70s. Bell Hooks.
Bell Hooks.
All of Bell Hooks' work is fire that I've gotten into, but that book in particular, All About Love, is like the one that I've spent the most time with. But anyway, she references Scott M. Peck's book from the 70s. I can't think of the author, Scott Peck, but I can't remember the name of the book. But he basically says that love is the willingness to extend oneself for the spiritual development of one's own self or another. And so it's basically saying a few things in there. The willingness, so it's like it's a choice, right? To extend yourself is not necessarily convenient, right? But to what end? To the spiritual development. Like if I love you, I want to see you be better. I want to see you evolve. I want to see you get to your purest self. And once you have that definition, because I talked about it in the parenting episode of saying like abuse and love can't coexist. Well, why is that? We've been taught that they do coexist. Well, if you don't have a definition for love, maybe they can. And if your definition for love is different, I'm not saying Scott Peck's definition is the only definition. But through that definition, this abuse could not be for my spiritual development. Right. This is not to bring me to a higher place. This is not to make me feel better, more confident, more in tune with my divinity. It's not that. So there's an opposition here. So it allows you a framework to see things in a different way. It allows you to understand there's a difference between kathek and care and love. It's not just the one catch-all thing. And there's people that care about you deeply that don't even have the capacity to love you because they don't know what spiritual growth and development looks like for themselves, much less you. So there's a lot to that book, but it goes through romantic love, it goes through family love, it goes through communal love, it goes through love of self, but it brings language and definitions to these things that's why I said it's like one of the most important books.
So that's your must read, because I think both of us have came to it. My must read for niggas is Pooh. Like if I'm throwing a must read on here, I'm going
Pooh. Yeah, definitely. I've passed that out a lot. Yeah, that's a if you have a beating heart, you got to check that out. I got so many books that have impacted my life, but I'll put that one right up there with anything.
Or have you for your son, have you gotten to any of these yet, or is he not there yet?
He's not there yet.
With understanding or reading?
He's with reading, I mean his comprehension level is not there yet when it comes to reading, but it is there when it comes to like what my son is able to understand at 6 years old. I can't fathom how deeply he understands stuff so quickly.
What?
I gave an example like of that's the energy we want to receive on another part, but he just gets it. So I'm able to talk to him about a lot of things that I'm picking up from these books, but I'm not assigning my son the book.
Yeah,
I grew up in a household like
6 years old.
I grew up, but not at 6. But I definitely once like 10, 12. I grew up in a house like, here's your reading for the week. Check that out. Let me know what you think about this. Which I resented at the time, but I love that it happened now.
I remember being 8. My mom reminds me sometimes too, like when I was like 8, like 7 through 9, like where I'm reading like everything moving. Like I'm just trying to read everything, and I'm a good reader too. And
what was your go-to at that time? Do you remember?
That time, no, I don't remember. I just remember my school because I was attending a private school at the time. So we had like this, like it was like they made it a competition where it's like you read when you get to a certain level, you're on certain colors. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you get colors.
Like, yeah,
pizza
so like,
parties.
Yeah, exactly.
Reading
so
is fun. Shout out Riff. Reading is fundamental.
Yeah, whereas I'm reading like I'm like second, third, fourth in the class, like type shit. So I'm like,
I was a dominant reader back in the day. Shout out R.L. Stein. Goosebumps.
Yo. That's what it was. Yo, the book, if I'm at the book fair, nigga, I'm copping Goosebumps. The cover alone, my nigga. The cover selling me every time.
I want a Goosebumps shirt, bro. That font slap to this day, man.
Font slap. The cover, yo,
that
the
remind me
artwork
of wearing like No Fear shirts, bro. Back in the day, man.
They used to make the artwork genuinely scary, bro. That shit used to
for a 7-year-old.
Yeah,
you look at it now, you probably
facts.
think it's like regular.
Okay.
I went from that to Animorphs. That was
Animorphs was one I wouldn't never read. I think both of them I didn't really get into that much. I just liked the covers. Animorphs cover was fucking hard too.
That's how they got me.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
But then by the time I was like 12, my dad like, do you know who Medgar Evers is? Okay, you got to read this. Report back later when you figure it out. Like, all right.
I walk out the book fair with a Goosebumps book and a Lamborghini poster.
Niggas, man. Talk. I want to know your experience. So, Decoded, Pooh, do you remember when you got it, or like who introduced you to it?
I want to say it was online. It was something online. I remember just being intrigued by the title because I know I used to always carry around a Winnie the Pooh when I was young. My mom told me. To this day, it's still at the house type shit. I used to always carry around, but I don't remember Winnie the Pooh, like the actual show or like what it was about and shit like that. So when I saw that, I was just like, y'all trying to make this shit some like it's like or some deep shit. Like, oh, where I'd be curious to hear about this simple ass cartoon.
Did you have any context for Taoism before that?
No. But I understood the meaning of it, you know what I'm saying? Or not the surface level meaning. I understood, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, this is how that's gonna get into. Like I understood what it would be about, and I'm like, it's gonna be interesting. And then getting it, it's like it's in one of those easy formats to read. So I'm like, I'm gonna have fun with this. It's cool. I could read it on some while my life is hectic type shit. You know what I'm saying? Certain books I can't read when my life is hectic. I can't read an 800-page small print when I'm on
It was
the
the best of times. It was the worst of times. It's a Tale of Two Cities shit. Yo.
Yeah.
Tell these niggas what you got on today, man. How you coming?
Fit check. How'd I know? Let's see. I start from the bottom up. Came with the Lon Vons again. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I had these on pod, but yo, these shit's going crazy.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
But as long as you got the pronunciation right, you can throw them on as many times as you want.
Fact. Came with the baggy Balenci's on denim today. I don't think this thing first time I wore denim on here. I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you have some denim. I don't think I even have any denim in rotation right now.
It's tough to find good fucking denim, bro. Jeans is always a problem. I know men struggle finding jeans because niggas ask me all the time where you get your pants at and shit like that.
But Demna is a dope denim designer. So
Demna?
Yeah.
Word. And then shirt, some fly Japanese shit. I'm a gatekeep. But if niggas want to know, you can hit me up in the DMs or something.
You try to get on the Japanese wave, right?
Heard it all. And then shiesty on, chilling.
Word.
Comfortable, feel loose. You know what I'm saying? Feel fly.
Fit.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, brother.
Yeah, the cut, the sweater is hard.
Yeah, that's for you.
I'm chilling today, man.
Chilling, man.
I'm on cozy vibes.
Let's see, slippers on,
slocks out. You feel me?
Neutral.
Very neutral vibes today. We'll go top down, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got this random silk scarf actually at a vintage store in Toronto. I don't know the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 100% silk. I was like, cool. It was like, I thought they said it was $50. I was like, cool. Then it came out as 15. I was like, even better.
Word.
You feel me? Like,
Word.
so did that. some calm glasses, you know, chilling.
Always.
Got the
They never calm, but okay. They never calm.
Very chilling. Still by hand. Still by hand. Like this is like a three-quarter length sleeve type of sweater situation. Baggy fit with the like, I don't even know what material this is, but it's like, it feels like linen mixed with silk. Pants. So you know I'm chilling. I'm straight posted. And then
that's the thing. We ain't coming on here super decked out. All niggas gonna catch me in some chill shit. Wait till summertime come around. I'm fucking around BOA with a wife beater.
Hoop shorts and an A shirt. Not a wife beater.
My fault. I was just about to say that. My language on that is probably rescinded.
Right.
Although I haven't seen that term get rescinded that much.
Which is nuts. But I start saying A shirt though.
Word.
Because it just sounds crazy
Tank
to me
top,
to say it. Yeah, word.
You know what I'm saying? But,
Rototo socks as usual. Got the Birkenstocks on. And
Fear of God dropped some Birkenstocks.
Said Fear of God. Like the Birkenstocks collabs is hard. I have a lot of collab shit too, but I have the ones that nobody really like. I have a Too Good Birkenstock collab. I have the ones that people aren't on.
Word.
Because the other shits is just too much, bro.
It's just very commercial.
Yeah. But I just got some plain joints today. But a silhouette that people don't really use, the Kyoto silhouette.
Word.
And then on my wrist, I got a gift from my mans.
Yes, sir.
For those who follow us on social, @Stay Dangerous, we talked about it before. You might have seen a video posted a few weeks back, or a month ago now, whenever it was. But it was my birthday a little while back, and my co-host over here surprised me with a vintage Rolex. Vintage piece. I don't know if you want to tell more of the story.
I give more of the story.
Before I seen it. But no, man, I appreciate it. It's one of these, like you said, it's a timeless thing. He engraved some shit on the back, but so I'm throwing that on today. Appreciate you, bro.
Already, man. Appreciate you, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now I engraved so I put for Winston on the back. You know what I'm saying? Winston, that's my own personal AKA for Brendan here. You know what I'm saying? If you can't tell, he's that's my alter ego for Brendan. You know what I'm saying? So I engraved it for Winston from your brother on the back. But just something that I felt like you know what I'm saying? Brendan he'd be low key with his birthday. He wouldn't really celebrate the birthday, you know what I'm saying, much. He'd be really low key, don't want you to know the exact day.
I did not tell niggas the day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I just know he's a Pisces. I fucks with the Pisces, you know what I'm saying? So so I just want to, you know what I'm saying, you got me countless priceless, what I would consider forever gifts too over time, you know what I'm saying? You got me artwork, fly-ass chess sets, books, and just many things where I've always wanted to properly give you something, you know what I'm saying, in a proper way. It's just I ain't want to just get you a gift just cause and just be some regular shit. So I'm like, I'm gonna do some shit. I'm gonna think it out. So when I've seen a jeweler, like it's gonna be fitting for my man. You know what I'm saying? I would love to. I wanna get you a nice, real classic fucking Daytona, some crazy, you know what I'm saying, some James Bond shit one day, but for sure, man, like this vintage shit is very, very fitting. And I know you don't be, you ain't, I don't see you with watches on too often, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, don't wear watches that often. It's gotta be a rare occasion. You see me in a watch.
Yo, my pops used to always. He say, he don't wear watches because it will always stop on his shit. So he always took that as a frequency, energy type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? So I'm curious, I don't know, maybe you experienced some type similar shit along the healing journey, but you know what I mean?
It's still perpetual movement for now.
Already. And yo, too, like, we want to talk even niggas, like, just on the style level, like, yo, for the men, too, like, what you said, niggas is at 20, by age 22, that's where most men get stuck at.
Yeah, we should get back to the books, but and maybe we'll do this on another episode. But as a teaser, I read a stat: 70% of men don't change their style after the age of 22.
That gives some context to our fit checks. We not just out here trying to flex on niggas. We out here stunt. We really trying, like, we know niggas like looking good. You know what I'm saying?
And it's another form of vulnerability that people don't talk about.
Word.
To actually try to continue to move with as the movements move. You don't want to, maybe you do, but one day that whatever era you stuck in, if you got stuck in the in the Sperry's and Chino's era, whatever it is. This kid's looking at you like you look at niggas with jean shorts on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be. Maybe you do want to be that, but I personally, I feel like that's once you start saying no to new, that's how you start getting old. Yeah. So don't be fat. That's a bar right there, niggas. I'm gonna rewind that back. Don't say no to new, bro.
Word. That's a bar. That's hard. For sure.
Is there? So all the books that you mentioned are giving some type of game. Is there anything that's just fun that you read or have read?
In a book. Nah, yeah.
I find no pleasure in this.
I feel like those I get my consumption on that from articles, threads, forums. Like that's
you a message board ass.
Yeah, I'm a forum ass. I've been on but I could deep dive into those subjects on there and a lot of different viewpoints, a lot of articles and shit like that. It's kind of where I consume more of that. But in a book, it's just like I see it as like if I'm taking my time to read this, I'm going to read either something that give me some game or something that really kind of impacts me because I know how I get when you try and get into the flow of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm taking the time to read, let me make it mean something.
Word. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? How about you?
I was trying to think of that as I was making you answer to think about on my bookshelf what's for fun. There's this book, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's a group of short stories by Kurt Vonnegut, which I'm probably sure he has a bunch, but it's an anthology type of situation. And he's like a satirical writer, so there's always some type of commentary being made with the satire. But some of the shit he just said, like the reason I read it and continue to read it, I think I like won it in I don't know, somehow work prize or some shit. But the reason I continue to read it when I got it was like, it was just funny as hell. Like he has little pessimistic quips and comments. He called like smoking. He's like, that's the coward's way to suicide. Because it's like just gonna keep smoking these cigarettes until but he just has little shit like that that's like, I like being in this person's brain type shit. So
you know niggas who refuse to read?
Yeah. I won't say the name of the person.
Yeah.
But I used to manage somebody who took it as a badge of honor that I haven't read a book since high school. No,
I might have been that nigga at a point in my life.
I had to, not call him into my office literally, but call him into my office.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's like taking a insecurity or taking something and then like try to reverse it, like like you above niggas for not. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. And I was like, yo, that's not cute.
Yeah.
And also, this is the impact that it has on your life. Now, yeah, he's like, well, I listened to some books or whatever, but also holding a book with you as you move through life creates so many conversations and so many relationships just based off of, I sat next to a dude on a plane one time, random ass plane, random ass like situation. I was even on that flight, sitting next to this dude. First of all, it's the only other black dude on the plane, and we both got big beards and shit. Like sitting next to him. Eventually, what you reading, bro? Oh yeah, okay. What you? I seen you reading something. What you got going? Turns out we from the same city. Both grew up playing football in the city. He mad cool with my best friend. I never met this nigga a day in my life.
That's insane. That's insane.
And
where was y'all going?
We both live in LA now. It was a flight to LA, so we was both going to LA. I can't remember what city we was coming from.
Damn.
But we ended up like splitting the Uber home type shit. Like just had still cool with the nigga to this day. Yeah.
Off the book.
But you never know what holding something in your hand could create as well. Like, I personally like to read pages that I hate to look at screens, and I just gather more information when I could write on it. Take the notes, underline whatever. But even more than having it in your hands for your own is like that bond with other readers.
Do you think there's other ways that we could be like for the person that refused to read, for that person that you need to like spoon feed the shit to, essentially? Do you think it's like maybe an easier method for them to get into? Maybe start with reading pages, or read this type of book and just kind of highlight the things that are important to you here, and then maybe from there it snowballs. Because I think making a nigga open page 1 and just make a nigga lock in on that is a difficult task.
When I asked the person I talked to at work was like, well, where do you think I should start? Start with what you care about. Because I think what people's aversion to reading is people being told what to read. So what do you actually care about?
Yeah.
You, somebody who's into whatever, like that person was into sneakers. I was like, read Phil Knight's book.
Yeah, word.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Read something that relates to, that gives you more context and information on something you already love. Like, I got a book, Dilla Time, that my mom's got me for Christmas. Was just like, I know that you love how music changes over time, and this is about how this producer, J Dilla, changed how people thought about drums and the timing of them. That's something I'm passionate about. My mom got me a book on it. But there's something that you fuck with already that there's books written about, or people that you fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you into pimping and want to read Donald Goines. Like, whatever you want to do, whatever you into, there's a book on it. Read it.
Read that shit. It's just a healthy habit, bro. It's just it's like going to the gym. You might not want to do it all the time and shit, but you ain't never gonna feel bad after you read some shit.
Nah. And the thing is, once you like build up a sort of like a cadence with it, just like going to the gym, it brings you confidence.
Yeah.
For several reasons. One, you committed to something and you kept your word to yourself, which is the best way to build confidence. Tell yourself you're gonna do something and then do it. But the other thing is, you're able to articulate yourself better because you have access to another person's vocabulary, which is different than yours. I'm not saying it's better, but it's different. So you're adding stuff into it, and you're exploring stuff that you love, you care about, so you are of more value to the community that you exist within because you know something now that they may not because you read a book on it. So now you're able to show up better for the people in your community because you've learned something. So there's a mad ways that it has an impact on people's confidence. It's almost like making a bed. You know what I'm saying? It has that, like, I'm doing this every day. I feel better about myself.
You could drop a dope ass fun fact in the middle of a convo now and get some whole shit started. You know what I'm saying? Like being
which I'd highly recommend.
Yeah, word.
I start shit with that all the time.
Yo, drop some shit you read in a book, bro, and then and get into it. And sometimes for niggas it's as simple as, it works with the women too, bro. Like, you will be able to bond with women more. I know there's certain motivations for niggas where it's like, 100%. Tell them the women 100%. Like it, they on it, bro.
The women like it. Yo, but so many women on social media, on these dating apps, on all these places, their biggest complaint is y'all can't hold a conversation. The reason you can't hold a conversation is probably because you can't articulate yourself. Can't articulate yourself because you're not having conversations with your friends and you're not reading.
You just sitting there with a
So you are becoming less and less valuable to society at large, but also to your community, to your friend group, and to the women or significant others that you're seeking to attract. You're not valuable. You're not adding anything because you're not pouring into yourself. And reading is one of them self-investment things, bro. It's like, I'm investing in myself so that I can become more valuable in so many different ways.
Word.
Becoming better at business, becoming better. I'm a better friend, a better communicator. I'm becoming better at understanding myself. I'm becoming a more informed person on my human experience based on the experience of others and what they've been through. So, you know, endless things. But also, here's another thing about reading, especially in the fantasy world or nonfiction world, period. It builds your imagination. That's why kids have such a good imagination.
Because you lose.
Bro, you have to imagine, what does this look like?
Everything in there.
Yeah, like,
you picture the character they describe. You got their own image of that character in your mind. This person look like that, like that.
What does this city look like? What's this town like? This dirt road, what color is the clay on it? Like, all this stuff that a good writer is laying out for you, but you still have to put an image to it.
Yeah, it's your shit. You know what I'm saying? And people, and there's people that understand this concept because, like we say, the gym or whatever, they understand that physical health is necessary. So
gotta get your mental reps in.
Yeah, you gotta get your mental reps in. What are you doing? If you sitting there, you a product of your consumption, bro. So if you sitting there watching TV and you sitting there reading this, you're a product of your consumption. You consuming that. You've been consuming this, and that for 3-4 years now. You ain't read a book since high school, like your man said. So what are you? What you got to talk about? This, that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so challenge yourself. And you know what we gonna do? Decide now. When this drops, we're gonna, put some stuff in social with some of our favorite books, some reading list shit, some stuff. We'll compile a list together. We want to get y'all's recommendations.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always down for a good book.
Yeah. So there'll be some resources. Anything that you might be interested in, we'll try to keep it as broad as possible. We'll get some stuff going. This was a fun convo, bro.
Fun convo. A little bit different. A little bit. Feel smart. I feel smart, but nah, it was dope. And like same thing. I hope niggas learn and take away some shit from this. I love to get into it with niggas on some books, bro. It's a kind of conversation I want to have.
100%. 100%. This is talk about staying dangerous.
Book.
Read a book.
I'm Malcolm
not a magazine.
yeah. I'm Malcolm out the window with it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Sure. Love you, my nigga.
Love you, my nigga.
Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous.
Yeah.